This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a friggin' Sunday. What's up, Socialist Aunt? Cricks, Warlord, welcome in. I'm not high enough for this shit. Oh shit, it's Cricks. Ah! This show is the reason why people watch me. This is where the numbers are. This is where my bread is buttered over here, the Troll Patrol. You were here for wrestling. Ain't nobody watching that shit except the freaks. But I appreciate the freaks to watch wrestling with me on a Saturday night. Welcome in. Good evening. It's time to find out what that news be doing. We've got a manhunt in New Orleans, and I got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about with it. You wait till you see the picture of the hole. I'm gonna show you a picture of the hole. There might be. I told you about the serial killer that might be on the loose in the Northeast. Now human remains have been found outside of Taylor Swift's home. And they're still saying, nah, it's not a serial killer, even though we have like 12 bodies now. A historic plantation burned to the ground. I'm going to tell you about Libertarian Mike Lee. Libertarian Mike Lee files the libertarian bill that would ban porn. La Dog, welcome in. A statue of Melania Trump was sawed off at the ankles, has disappeared. Tornadoes ripped through the country. Something's in my teeth. Hold on. That's how professional I am. This couple was upset because they bought a Trump watch, but surprise, surprise, the watch was not the best of quality. And that's not even the funniest thing about the story. Woman is suing National Geographic, saying it led to the death of her husband. A Mexican beauty influencer has been found dead, apparently killed during her live stream. A terror attack was apparently thwarted on a U.S. military base. Meanwhile, authorities are saying that the explosion at a Palm Beach abortion clinic was a terror attack. We have a suspect now named. A Mexican naval ship hit a bridge in New York City. Clinically, thank you for the resub. Welcome in. Get your balls out. Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of ball cancer, so we are now on
Biden dies of ball cancer watch.
Carla, welcome in. I am not high enough for this shit. This is also a really good time to tell you, Minty, good evening. If you're over 40, you should get your prostate examined. You should get your anal beads tickled. What's the other? I think it's both are prostate exam and your colonoscopy. You need to get your colonoscopy. You don't want to be in a situation where your ball cancer has spread to your bones like Joe Biden.
Biden dies of ball cancer watch.
You guys do not want to know the trouble I had to go through to find the project file for that, to change it to ball cancer. Oh, God damn it. No, I didn't even finish running down the news. I'm going to tell you why the DOJ is invoking state secrets for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And the right wing has been losing their minds over some seashells on a beach. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol live. Good evening. It's all balls. It's all balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Good evening. Welcome in. It's a freaking Sunday night. Appreciate everybody that came and hang out with me last night. Watched the best of Sabu. That was a lot of fun. I apologize. I don't think I showed up on Thursday. I think I showed up for Twitch and we watched police chases and listened to music. Holiday, welcome in, my friend, with your first pinned comment of the night. So my apologies for not showing up for the show on Thursday night. Yes, Biden does indeed have an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread. Oh, I need to show you the meme of the day. That's right. I was going to go ahead and go into the news. The FBI trying to infiltrate and disrupt the left. The left. It's funny because it's true. Good luck finding the left trademark. Joe Biden went to the doctor. The doctor told him he had cancer, and he said,
"Come on, man."
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Moore. We join you with some breaking news. Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. A spokesperson for Biden says he was diagnosed Friday and called it a more aggressive form of the disease. Biden and his family are now reviewing his treatment options. CBS News White House reporter Willie James Enman joins us now from Washington.
Willie James.
What else has Biden's office said about the diagnosis so far?
Hey there, Jessica. We're getting this statement from the former president's office just moments ago. I want to read that statement in full for our viewers. It says, last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. And then it goes on to say, on Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of 9.
I have been experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. The symptom of wanting to piss in Dan Crenshaw's eye pussy. Sorry, that was torture getting there.
With metastasis to the bone, while this represents a more aggressive.
Well, they cut Willie James off.
Effective management. And it then goes on to say that the president is reviewing those treatment options with his family. Now, this isn't the first time that the Biden family has dealt with a cancer diagnosis. Remember, the president's late son, Beau Biden, was diagnosed with brain cancer and passed away several years ago. So surely the president's family is circling around him with this diagnosis, and we'll wait to hear more from the former president's team.
Yeah,
Jessica.
absolutely. They're no stranger to the cancer journey. We understand his doctors have said, even though it's spread to the bone and it is a more aggressive form, there's something about it that makes it more treatable. You're hearing it, that it's hormone responsive, right? Isn't that what they're saying?
That's right. In this statement, they're saying that this is a more hormone sensitive type of cancer, which allows for effective management. But remember, the former president is an 82-year-old man. A lot of the reason why he stepped down was because of some of the concern about his fitness to continue to serve as president if he was elected to a second term. Certainly, this is a diagnosis that was not something that a lot of people would have thought of for the former president, but certainly something that his family will have to deal with now in terms of that treatment plan as they look forward to how he's going to not only deal with this health crisis, but how he's going to mentally deal with this as well, because certainly this is a diagnosis that a lot of Americans, millions of Americans, have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that touch many families, and it has touched the Biden family in the past with the death of his son, Beau Biden.
Such a good point you bring up there. And Willie, have we heard any response from the current administration, the Trump White House?
Yeah, well, President Trump spent the day at his golf course in Sterling, Virginia. We have not heard from the White House in terms of a statement.
I didn't even know he had a golf course there.
President's diagnosis of prostate cancer. We'll wait and see if the former president posts on social media or addresses the media here. We are, of course, staged here at the White House. But for now, we have reached out to the White House, but no comment just yet, Jessica.
We know you'll be staying on top of every development. Willie James Inman, thank you. Stay with us on CBS News as we continue to follow this breaking story. And we'll be right back.
Willie James will stay on top of all the developments with Joe Biden's balls. Thank you, Willie James. It's a thankless job. Wait a minute, I just thanked him. My bad. Here's something I find really interesting. Usually when you would like to hide stories, you drop them on a Friday. It would seem that this is a story about Joe Biden that Trump would want to amplify, yet it was dropped on a Friday. The audio of her deposition that Biden gave to the special counsel while he was in office dropped on Friday.
And a Fox News alert for you. Newly released audio of Joe Biden's 2023 interview with special counsel
DJ Dub, welcome in.
Shining a harsh light on the president's cognitive ability as he struggles to speak and even remember certain key dates in his life. Watch this.
And what's happened in the meantime is that Trump gets elected in November of 2017? 2016. All right. So, why do I have 2017 here?
That's what.
When he took office.
Here to discuss.
That's an honest mistake. That's not something.
Tom, we've read the transcript in the past, and it reads badly.
That's something damning.
Far worse.
I agree. I mean, the audio is always worse than the transcription. Video is usually worse than audio, but we don't have that. But clearly, I mean, this just shows another example of, remember when this report came out, how Robert Hur was attacked. And I know someone who knows Robert Hur who said this guy has a sterling reputation, and they attacked him, they smeared him, and they kept this from the American public. The administration, kept this audio from the American public. And it's just another example of how we were lied to. Everyone's calling this a cover-up. It wasn't a cover-up. We all knew it was happening. This was gaslighting of the highest order by the administration and the media, who in large part went along with it all the way through.
You know, Tom, what strikes me here,
I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think the media went along with it.
October interview that happened in 2023, and then the debate, the famous debate with Donald Trump, happened in June of 2024. That's a long time in between. The report from her was put out during that interim, and as you said, people jumped all over him. The Democrats, the media, just savaging.
But that is an interesting question. Had this audio been released, do you think that maybe we would have been able to get Joe Biden to drop out sooner? That would have been a good thing.
Robert Hur, his reputation, his integrity, pillorying him. And then the debate happens, and they're all like, whoa, we had no idea that this could happen. Who is this man? No, they all knew.
DJ Dub, is that true?
Certainly.
If you're willingly giving a deposition, you're not being subpoenaed.
Like that, Tom,
You can't have AIDS?
Joe Biden for years.
That's right. We've got reporting.
Wouldn't that have been a legal counsel?
Or maybe in some instances even before that, showing examples of Joe Biden's decline. And what's most infuriating about this guy is that you know, and I think everybody who's watching this show knows, had Joe Biden not fumbled so badly, not failed so badly on that debate stage, the charade would still be going on. The media would have, and he might have potentially won. He could be in office right now. Given these circumstances, they would still be lying to us. And by the way, even after he dropped out, he was the president of the United States for 6 more months in this condition. So I keep saying this. I don't think
and it did a better job than
Trump.
Trump.
The greatest political scandal in American history, certainly of the last 50 or 60 years.
Oh my God.
And there's a lot more reckoning that needs to come along with this.
Yeah, and the audio that we've been playing from this interview, after that day, that man continued to be, at least nominally, president of the United States for nearly 500
The only
days.
audio they played was like a 10-second clip.
The place. Meanwhile, I want to turn to this. Jake Sullivan, the former
I didn't even think it was that bad.
To President Biden, just recently claimed, "Oh, I didn't know about any of this stuff. I was totally stunned by what happened at that debate." Well, apparently, the president misidentified him multiple times, called Jake Sullivan Steve. Sullivan says he doesn't really remember that, but how do you...
Damn it, Steve.
Yeah, look, I don't think we've ever had, and I know Donald Trump gets dinged for lying about this and he exaggerates, but I don't think we've ever had an administration who had more contempt for the American people than the Biden administration. From day one, they were telling us, oh, don't believe your lying eyes at the border. It's not a crisis, and on, along with Biden's mental fitness. And so I don't think that we can take Jake Sullivan or anyone who is close to him at their word. They have lied to us before. I don't know why they think they should have any credibility when they say something that is clearly...
You're on a news channel, had to pay out almost $1 billion for lying.
Jake Sullivan was one of those unelected bureaucrats that were in the White House.
Well, Lord, welcome in.
Right.
While Joe
Yeah,
Biden
speaking of lying, what Mr.
doing
Trump...
whatever Joe Biden was doing, whether he's at the beach or whether he wasn't there. And that was something that people want to know. Who's running the country? Well, Jake Sullivan was one of them. And again, I think he needs to be held to account for that.
Yeah, not just a lot.
Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor, was one of the people running the country.
An acting president of the United States while all this was playing out. It's actually an extremely disturbing thing to think about, and it's in a brand new light given this audio that we brought you on to talk about this morning. Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Guy.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Hey, Ducey.
Click here to subscribe.
The audio wasn't, they didn't play that much of it. The whole thing's like an hour. I didn't go into it. That was them worrying about Biden's mental health from a couple of years ago. Now we're worried about Biden's physical health since he has ball cancer.
Biden dies of ball cancer watch.
Quesadilla, welcome in. The right wing has been in a tizzy over some seashells on a seashore. God damn it. Brought shame to the FBI badge. Dan Bongino slams the former FBI chief James Comey over his 8647 Instagram post. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino criticized James Comey, calling him out for a now deleted Instagram post many saw as threatening towards Donald Trump. Have you guys seen it? Is the picture here? No. The biggest nothing burger ever. Comey, who led the FBI from 2013 until he was dismissed by Trump in 2017, caused a storm last week after posting a cryptic image of seashells arranged to read 8647. Let's go get the... Show me the Comey picture that he posted, please. Jesus Christ. Just show her the image. Oh, fucking shit. The post was quickly removed, but not before sparking outrage. Bongino said that the current FBI chief, Kash Patel, and he are cleaning up messes left behind by Comey. Former FBI Director James Comey brought shame to the FBI badge yet again this past week. The director and I spend an inordinate amount of time cleaning up messes left behind by former Director Comey, and his latest actions are no exception. Comey denied any violent intent, saying it never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. I didn't realize some folks associated those numbers with violence. But Trump rejected that explanation. He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. It says it loud and clear. The Secret Service has since interviewed Comey about the post, while FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed the Bureau was in communication with the Secret Service on the matter. Jesus, it took long enough to find this. This was the post with seashells. Samson, good evening. That's what Comey, he has a book coming out. This is all about a book. So, Dan Bongino says that was not appropriate for a FBI director to share out. FBI directors shouldn't share out such imagery. Former FBI director. Remember, he is a private citizen. Okay, he was a private citizen when he shared this out too, but this is the current FBI director. This is a post he shared out in 2022.
I was born, nurses all gathered round. They gazed in wide wonder at the joy they had found. The head nurse spoke up.
Oh my God, they put makeup on Millie. They put cornrows on Biden.
That I was bad to the bone. Bad.
I'm probably going to get copyright on that one because of the bad to the bone. Meanwhile, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are really riling up the MAGA base. They gave this interview with Fox Business, and both of them look guilty as shit. Watch this.
Well, Dan, throughout the Russia collusion story and the rest.
Look, I can speak to the folks that were in our seats, our predecessors, and they intentionally failed the American public by putting on the biggest DC deception game we've ever seen. They said the FBI was the most storied institution for law enforcement, and it was. And it will be again very soon. But when the likes of Comey and McCabe and Strzok and company came in here with the James Bakers of the world and intentionally lied to a federal court only to rig a presidential election by lying to the American public and using taxpayer dollars, likely illegally, to fund this entire operation, and then withhold exculpatory information from a federal court that I used to appear before to manhunt terrorists, that's what broke the FBI. And then when they were caught, they lied about it. And you and a few others like Dan and others were brave enough to cover it 6, 7, 8 years ago. And we're still talking about it today because as Congress is working rigorously with us, the Crossfire Hurricane documents are coming.
Still talking about it today, even though nothing came out of it.
Unredacted, so we can have full accountability. And that's how you restore what the trust that was lost to the American public.
Speaking of unredacted.
Yeah, but come on, Director, with all due respect, we've been talking about this for a long time, and I've been demanding accountability for many, many years. You mentioned Comey, Strzok, and the rest. They've got TV shows. They've got media platforms. They're fine. There's been no accountability.
Well, look, it's a fair criticism, but what I will tell people is we weren't here in the FBI in the last 5 years when we had statute of limitations that were still in play, where we could have investigated criminal conduct. Most of these statute of limitations are 5 years old. And we will investigate criminal conduct where we find a righteous case to do so and the law and the facts allow us to. But a lot of it we're precluded from. So we'll take the criticism, and it's rightfully so. That could we have done more in the past? Sure, people before us could have, but what we can do now is continue to put out the documents and the information that these people withheld from the American public. And I'm just telling you right now, as much as we know about Crossfire Hurricane, he and I just found out more last week. And we're continuing to work with Congress to put those documents out.
We just found out more.
Addictive and vicious the former leadership structure here was. Not only did they bastardize the FISA process and lie to the American public, they withheld and hid documentation and put it in rooms where people weren't supposed to look. And it's a good thing we're here now to clean it up, and you're about to see a wave of transparency.
What do you mean?
Just give us about a week or two.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that the judge that gave a smack on the wrist.
You got one more question. You want to talk about transparency? Why don't you ask him this question, Maria? Let's roll with this. Silent, welcome in. Get him, Maria.
Said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide.
You guys believe him?
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Oh, I love that the right wing, their heads are exploding over this. Exploding. Thread, welcome in. Dougie. Thread, what are we crab dancing over? I'm not up to speed. Gears are asking me, like, flags were at half staff, and I'm like, the Pope still? They've already named a new Pope. I have no idea why flags would be at half staff, because they got a new Pope already. Or are you talking about Biden and his ball cancer?
Biden dies of ball cancer watch.
I even broke out the graphics for it. I mean, come on.
Biden dies of ball cancer watch.
Why is the DOJ invoking state's secrets in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia. It's almost like they don't want to have to come clean with the judge.
Well, in just about an hour, Trump administration attorneys are set to answer to a Maryland federal judge on why government attorneys want to use something called state secrets privilege in the case of a man mistakenly deported to El Salvador by the Trump administration. So you are looking right now outside the courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland, where Abrego Garcia's supporters, and there they are. They've been at the microphones. They've been behind the people at the microphones, holding up signs. They're also singing songs of protest as they continue their call to bring Mr. Abrego Garcia back to the United States. So let's kind of go over a timeline here. He was arrested by ICE in Baltimore March 12th. He was then flown with other migrants to a notorious Supermax prison in El Salvador shortly thereafter. ICE admitted the deportation was an administrative error. So Abrego Garcia had legal protection that was supposed to keep him from being deported. In April, a federal judge and the U.S. Supreme Court both ordered the Trump administration to facilitate Mr. Abrego Garcia's return to the United States. Earlier this month, the Justice Department asserted something called the state secrets privilege. In answer to all of that, they filed it in court, leading to today's hearings. So that brings us to this next conversation. Glenn Thrush covers the Justice Department for the New York Times. Glenn, catch us up, first of all. What is the state secret privilege for our viewers who may not know what that is? Because we know that that is really what the Trump administration is going to stand firmly on.
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. What they're arguing here is that divulging certain information involving this case would potentially endanger individual human sources of intelligence and reveal various state secrets that are included in classified documents. Now, that seems to be a relatively
they're a cute
request
couple.
if we were dealing with an issue that dealt explicitly with national security. But it should be noted, the government has thrown the kitchen sink at this case. In front of the two federal judges that have adjudicated this, have repeatedly pressed the administration for specific information about how the decision to continue with the flight to send Abrego Garcia to El Salvador proceeded when Judge Boasberg in Washington initially told them not to do so. And so what we're dealing here with is essentially a jerry-rigged, to put it, I think, politely, approach by the government to figure out a justification for not producing more documentation. Now, in this case in Greenbelt, there were a number of documents produced by the government under seal that they claimed were classified. And we learned not directly from the Justice Department that they were going to invoke state secrets, but in an order from the judge calling for this hearing to take place. It's all extremely complicated. It's very convoluted, but to cut to the chase, the government is attempting to use the potential for classified information. And remember that, again, this is not a national security issue per se. It's about an individual. And the judge is pressing them for information. So essentially what this amounts to is either a stalling rear guard measure to keep them from having to disclose things to avoid a constitutional confrontation, or they are hoping that there is something contained in these sealed filings that we don't know about that might actually change the nature of the case. But in general, this is a gambit by the government to stall.
And so much has been put out there when the conversation really is about due process under the law. Let's play this out, though. If the judge rules that the U.S. cannot use that state secrets privilege or argument, what impact could that have on immigration policy in a larger sense going forward?
Well, this administration has invoked emergency powers on any number of occasions. And we saw a couple of weeks ago, actually, I think it was only a week ago, Stephen Miller floating this idea of suspending habeas corpus, which is something
fucking Stephen Miller.
So we're really flirting with these extraordinary measures based on an interpretation of a national emergency at the border that doesn't seem to be borne out by the actual facts on the ground. Now, nobody is disputing on either side of the aisle, or judges aren't disputing factually, that there are immigration challenges in this country, and that the federal government, that the executive branch under the Constitution has broad latitude on immigration. None of that stuff is in dispute. The question is, they are now attempting, the Trump administration, and Stephen Miller particularly, one of his top advisors,
that piece of shit,
very, very extreme notion that you can invoke emergency powers, and that's why we're seeing this flirtation with the national security issues.
All right, Glenn Thrush, thank you so much. And you remember the old phrase from one very popular movie, nobody sits you in the corner. You got to take yourself out of the corner next time we talk to you, my friend. You have a great day. Thanks for breaking that all down for me.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Carpe, Flash, welcome in. The Supreme Court stepped in 2 days ago. Upholding the block on Trump deportations under the Alien Enemies Act as judge questions the Abrego Garcia case as it happened. This was the blog as it happened. Reuters is reporting that the U.S. Supreme Court is keeping in place its order blocking the Trump administration from deporting Venezuelan migrants under the Aliens Enemy Act. On the 7th of April, the Supreme Court ruled that those being removed under the law needed to be provided with adequate notice that they were being removed under the act so that they might be able to file a legal challenge. Then less than 2 weeks later, the Supreme Court ordered a halt to a deportation of migrants in Texas after being presented with evidence they weren't being given adequate chance to file their appeals for their removal. I don't think I got a good fucking rundown of this shit. Trump responded to the Supreme Court on social media. The Supreme Court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country. The Supreme Court of the United States is not allowing me to do what I was elected to do, Trump added in a subsequent post. Ruled that the worst murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and even those who are mentally insane. A lot of those superlatives apply to you, Trump. Who came into our country illegally are not allowed to be forced out without going through a long, protracted, and expensive legal process, one that will take possibly many years for each person. I'm not high enough for this shit. Get more high. Are we going to see an end to the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Sometime this week, Trump is going to be meeting with both Putin and Zelensky.
And I do want to take you out to some breaking news that we are following here. This just coming in from President Trump on Truth Social. More international developments here as he does say, quote, I will be speaking by telephone to President
Sports Cards, welcome in.
Russia on Monday at 10 a.m. The subjects of the call will be stopping the quote-unquote bloodbath that is killing on average more than 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week, and trade. I will then be speaking to President Zelensky of Ukraine and then with President Zelensky, various members of NATO. Hopefully it will be a productive day. A ceasefire will take place and this very violent war, a war that should have never happened, will end. God bless us all. Again, that post here just coming in from President.
Yeah, it's a literal bloodbath, not a figurative bloodbath.
Monday with Vladimir Putin. All of this coming
very odd that there's quotes
after we learned from Zelensky of this attack by Russia on Ukraine, killing at least 9 people. Now, viewer discretion is advised.
Follow me on Truth Social at JustinFREAKIN. I am JustinFREAKIN on all the social medias. No matter where you're at, I'm there too. Rumble, Kick. Hey guys, what's going on? We're live there right now. Follow me on Truth Social.
As Volodymyr Zelensky did post this photo here on the left-hand side of your screen. He said,
I'm JustinFREAKIN on Blueski.
7 wounded people in hospitals following a Russian drone strike.
Why? Why would you think I'm not on
Victims
Blueski?
have suffered burns, fractures, and blast injuries. All of them are receiving the necessary medical assistance. Tragically, 9 people were killed. And of course, important to mention that this attack happening hours after the delegations
anonymously welcome in
met for about 2 hours over 2 days in Istanbul, Turkey. No ceasefire deal.
Istanbul, not Constantinople. You can't go back to Constantinople.
Was kind of come together, was brokered there between the two delegations. However, they did come up with a deal that 1,000 prisoners of war will be swapped between each of them. Again, no ceasefire deal, but President Trump does say he is hopeful he can make that happen as he speaks with Putin on Monday and then with Zelensky and various members of NATO. We'll keep you updated here.
He'll be back. He always comes back. I had him and Maynard laying on me for most of the. I had to pee so bad and had both of them on me. I'm like, I can't get up. This is too special. We're kind of done with the politics. We get a little bit more into the politics, but it's more crime oriented from here on out. Or disasters. We've got several disasters. So I guess I should hit the content warning possibly. We're going to go to New York where at least 2 people have died following a Mexican ship hitting a bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge.
It's just unfathomable. This Mexican tall ship owned by the U.S. Navy crashing into the Brooklyn Bridge.
Wait a minute, it's owned by it's our Navy?
A couple of times. A lot of people waking up probably seen it for the first time.
Hold on. I thought this was a Mexican ship. This is our Navy? Rammed it into a bridge? They said our Navy. It says Mexican Navy on the Chiron.
It's just unfathomable. This Mexican tall ship owned by the U.S. Navy crashing into.
No, it said owned by the U.S. Navy.
We've seen this video now a couple of times. A lot of people waking up probably seen it for the first time.
And still.
Yeah, it's staggering. The ship's towering mast, they snapped under the undercarriage of the bridge there. 2 people are dead at this point. More than a dozen others are injured. We want to head to the scene now. Weekend Today New York's Jessica Cunnington live over at Pier 30.
Krill, welcome in.
Side, and that's where the ship is docked right now. Jess, what's the latest?
Yeah, it is docked here for now. It's being guarded by 2 NYPD officers and also an NYPD harbor unit boat that is in the water here. But wow, there are so many questions that people have this morning about how this happened, how it could have happened.
Yes.
And the NTSB will be conducting a full investigation into that. But I want to take you closer to this boat, to this tall ship that was on a naval training mission. It was on its way to Iceland. That was supposed to be the next stop. But instead, officials say there was some sort of mechanical mishap.
Isn't Iceland the other way?
This ship to smash right into the Brooklyn Bridge. You can take a look at the top of the masts there that are just broken, snapped, hanging over now. You might have seen the video. It was posted all across social media. We, of course, showed it to you last night. But really, this happened around 8:30 p.m. when that ship just veered straight on into the bridge. In one video, you can see, as you both mentioned, sailors up on the masts seconds before it hit the bridge. Tons of people in Manhattan and Brooklyn were out by the water. It was a beautiful Saturday evening, as we know, so many people watched this happen and could not believe.
I don't think there's a section that can.
According to the naval lieutenant on that ship,
Clear.
told our team early.
I think people were up on the mast.
That this was a
That's how they died.
Cadets at a Mexican naval school. Now, officials told us 277 people in total were on board, and you're taking a look at photos here of the massive rescue effort last night by the FDNY and the NYPD to get every single person off safely. Now, Mayor Eric Adams says 19 people in total were injured, and we know 2 people passed away. According to the preliminary investigation, the NYPD said the pilot assigned to navigating the boat out into the water, well, they believe there was some kind of mechanical issue
drunk?
that then caused that ship to hit the bridge.
He wasn't high enough for this shit.
Singing, but there was people on the mast standing up, and I don't know, they were backing up, and it hit the top shelf, and the mast came down, and the people were just hanging from there.
The captain that was maneuvering the ship lost, I guess, power of the ship and the current. Mechanical function caused the ship to go right into the pillar of the bridge, hitting the mast of the ship where there was a couple of sailors on top of it.
Now, here is some video of the ship that had been at Pier 17 last week. This is, of course, way before this crash happened. The lieutenant had told our team that New York was just one stop of many on the training cruise. And normally at all of the different ports that the ship visits, it attracts a lot of attention from local residents in the different
Trying to not get stabbed by murder mittens.
People are welcome to come onto the boat to exchange.
He's making it extremely difficult.
A little bit of Mexico. So this ship has a lot of meaning. It has been out at sea for 36 years in total. New York City right now working very closely.
36 years.
Right now, especially with family members of those 2 people who passed away. They, of course, are making their way here to New York City.
Well, I'm wearing thin pants.
Are still in critical condition this morning, and others are injured as well.
Oh my God.
What we know in terms of the Brooklyn Bridge, the Department of Transportation Commissioner, along with the mayor, said after a preliminary inspection of the bridge, there seemed to be no damage done.
My knee is completely tore all to hell.
Its structure because or due to this crash. So the bridge is open and running as normal. But again, the NTSB will conduct a full investigation.
I wouldn't imagine the bridge sustained any damage.
Live on the Lower East Side this morning, I'm Jessica Cunnington. Back to you.
What a horrific story, Jess. Thank you. And Gus and I were talking about this. This bridge was the ship was the vessel.
We've had a lot of transportation issues so far this year.
Stops in Iceland and Spain and London, and it was supposed to be heading north and appears to have been going backwards when it struck the bridge. And fortunately, nobody hurt on the bridge. But my God, those 2 sailors.
Yeah, just a horror.
On board. All right, Jessica, thank you.
Those 2 seamen.
Update.
Well, our live breaking news coverage of the ship crash continues all morning right here on Weekend Today in New York. You can also
Sean Duffy. I can't believe I think it was Saturday night, right? And because the news report that we were just watching was from this morning. Yeah, posted 13 hours ago. It was from this morning. Happened Saturday night. Tom Cruise has semen on his back. The FBI apparently did something right. Thwarted a terror attack on a military base. Or so they say.
Police and the FBI say they have stopped a planned terror attack at a Metro Detroit military base. The accused mastermind, a 19-year-old former member of the Michigan Army National Guard. Again, a lot developing here at this hour. Going to bring in Robin Murdoch with our Fox 2 Detroit team, joining us live with what we know.
Wait, he was a member of the National Guard that got like kicked out and joined ISIS or some shit? Is that what happened?
Oh, and what is still left to figure out. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Josh. Yeah, what could have happened here is absolutely frightening. As you just mentioned, a 19-year-old Melvindale man is behind.
Yeah, it looks like Maggie Day, too.
Allegedly planning a terrorist attack at the TACOM military facility here in Warren, where we are right now. He apparently, according to court documents, had been planning this attack for about a year, and he was arrested on the day that he was supposed to carry this out. So he was arrested on Tuesday. 19-year-old Ammar Sayed had allegedly been talking to a couple of different undercover officers who were posing as ISIS supporters. Now, federal investigators...
Oh, so he was entrapped.
Molotov cocktails, gave them ammunition, and even flew a drone over the military base here to help plot that attack. Again, Sayed was arrested on the very same day he was supposed to carry out this mass shooting. Now, neighbors, as you can imagine, they were just shocked when they saw the FBI raiding his home in Melvindale. The allegations are alarming and simply frightening. Take a listen to some of their thoughts.
I was totally scared when all the FBI,
Griggs, I won't say always, but
let us know what's going on. The father is the very, very nice.
It is an overwhelming majority of the cases.
I don't know.
It seems that most of the people involved in these cases are FBI.
Now,
creating a crime that wouldn't exist absent the FBI.
Where we are right now, and during his time as a member of the Michigan Army National Guard, he does face a couple of different charges, and if convicted on them, he faces up to 20 years in prison for each of them. We are live in Warren this morning. I'm Robin Murdoch. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Robin Murdoch there with our Fox 2 Detroit team. We'll, of course, stay in touch and gather more details here. Thank you again for taking the time to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Appreciate your reporting. That terror attack was thwarted, but the one in Palm Beach totally happened. Massive explosion near a Palm Springs, not Palm Beach, Palm Springs hospital. This was actually an abortion clinic.
Video for us, joining us on the phone. Alan, thanks for taking this video for us and getting it to us. And if you could just kind of walk us through what your morning was like going through this.
It was a unique sound, like a sonic boom. And that was about 10:55, almost 11 a.m. And I thought it was an earthquake because things rattled. And
a couple of people were injured, but the only fatality was the bomber in the vehicle.
And I never heard anything that unique, except early on in my journalism career. I was a reporter once. I heard a jet crash, an A7 blow up in a street in Tucson near the University of Arizona, and it was the most unique sound. And I thought for sure a helicopter had crashed, or again a sonic boom. Maybe it was a Musk rocket that took off, and I never identified it. Neighbors were out, horns were honking from alarms, and I was, like I said, a quarter mile away. I got on my bike, rode up there, and took a look, and police were just responding.
This looks pretty targeted, Flash.
It was just so unbelievable because it was so little smoke, and the smoke that went up went straight up, and it wasn't a lot, but things were blowing out about at least a block around the site. And the big surprise to me was the unique sound of that explosion. I'll never forget it this far away.
If you could, I know we always hear fireworks this time of year as we lead up to July 4th, and then occasionally we'll hear one that sounds a little different. Was it deeper? Was it the fact that you might have felt it? If you could try and put into words, what was so different about this sound that you hadn't heard before?
Exactly. It was a shock wave. It was like a wave of of energy that hit the glass first out to the front of my house. It faced the Desert Medical Center, but clearly blocks away. And I saw the glass, it was rattling, and then the boom, and it knocked glasses on shelves around it.
Yeah, this dude doesn't really have much to add now, does he? We'll find out who doesn't like fertility clinics. Law enforcement shared details on the bomber earlier today.
The ongoing search in 29 Palms that many of you asked me about yesterday. I can confirm they were executing a search warrant at that location in 29 Palms as a result of this explosion here. As has been reported, some residents were evacuated in the neighboring area as a practice of protocol and safety. We do not believe that there's an ongoing threat to the public in the 29 Palms area as a result of this investigation. As I mentioned yesterday, our efforts to positively identify the deceased individual here has been found. We are fairly confident that that subject is Guy Edward Bartkus, 25-year-old from, again, Palm Springs.
Bartkus.
From, again, 29 Palms. This is the same individual that I had mentioned yesterday. However, due to our investigation, we were keeping some of that information close hold, but we were now releasing it to you today. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force indicates that we believe he was the subject found near the vehicle.
He was on their radar, wasn't he?
I also want to provide the vehicle information to you. He was driving a 2010 silver Ford Fusion sedan with license plate number 8, H as in Henry, W as in William, S as in Sam, 848. Again, that is license plate number 8 as in Henry, 8, H as in Henry, W as in William, S as in Sam, 848. That's critical because we need the public's help in identifying gaps in our investigation. We know where Mr. Barton.
I would assume we've got a Fed in the chat.
Timeline of when he entered the
Flash.
city. We need the public's help for identifying where he traversed within the city before the explosion went off. We'll be providing a photograph of Mr. Bartkus, and it'll also be displayed on our social platforms. If anyone has information about this incident, I urge them to call 1-800-CALL-FBI, or we have created a tip line, which is fbi.gov/Palm Springs vehicle explosion. I again want to thank you for your cooperation as we get through this lengthy investigation.
Are they not going to show his mugshot? It was on the...
To address the
shit, it was on the thumbnail, but I can't see the thumbnail here. Yeah, Bartkus, that's not going to come up. Well, fuck. Guy Edward Butkus. There's a picture of him. So I wrongly said abortion clinic is apparently a fertility clinic. Kind of the opposite. Huh. Several claims about Butkus have surfaced on social media. Some user claimed that he went by the user ID Indict Evolution on platforms and also posted a note about his bomb-making process on the internet forum Sanctioned Suicide. Authorities have yet to confirm these details. According to the alleged note posted earlier this month, Barkus said, "I will finally be gone." The note also describes a bomb-making process. I'll leave that one alone. According to the claims, added that if there's enough of it vaporizing, it might affect my eyes and maybe even my skin, but I'll just close my eyes. Authorities said that the suspect, Barkus, was from 29 Palms. His writings were anti-pro-life in nature, according to a social media post Sunday from Balil Asali, the U.S. attorney in Los Angeles. The subject had nihilistic ideations. What does that mean? And this was a targeted attack against the IVF facility. Make no mistake, we are treating this, as I said yesterday, as an intentional act of terrorism. The bombing injured 4 other people in addition to killing Barkus. Though Davis said all embryos at the facility were saved. Yay! Yeah, the nihilism doesn't seem to really come into play there. I don't know. How not? Because it's an area of philosophical thought that really, like, just calling any, like, I don't know. I'm gonna let me think on this and put it into words for you tomorrow. I mean, I'm gonna have to think on this one. And this is a fun story. This is the fun one tonight. We have a manhunt underway. I think it's still going on as of the time that I was putting the show together. The manhunt's still going on for several inmates. You guys are gonna get a kick out of this. This is fantastic.
Well, manhunt is continuing in the U.S. city of New Orleans after 10 inmates considered armed and dangerous escaped from a prison there on Friday morning. 3 of the prisoners now have been apprehended. The sheriff's office said the inmates were discovered missing during a routine head count. They're believed to have escaped sometime just after midnight. This is the remarkable footage showing the moment the jailbreak took place. After yanking a cell door off its tracks, the inmates then fled across the interstate highway. This is CCTV from inside the prison. Now, the sheriff's office has also released these images showing that the inmates broke through a wall behind a toilet. Scrawled on the wall are the words "to."
They misspelled "too," but it says "too easy," LOL, and they drew a fucking tongue sticking out. Taunting them.
Too easy, LOL. Some of the escapees are facing murder charges or other violent charges. The sheriff's office says it's informed some of the alleged victims that the men are on the loose. There is a press conference taking place right now in the city of New Orleans. Officials there briefing the press. Let's take a listen.
To ensure the safety of the public who's there in that area, as well as those who are working the investigation, and the safe and secure apprehension of those who are fugitives. Each second does count. Certainly, the sooner we can apprehend them, the sooner everyone can be rest assured that they are no longer a threat to the public. These are violent offenders who escaped, and we have to bring them back. And they will go to
as of 2 hours ago.
So there was a shooting in New Orleans East at the Willow recently.
This manhunt continues.
It may have been an officer-related one. Does that have any connection with this situation currently, or is that
Apparently they've caught 3 of them.
Right. So it was an event in which there were law enforcement federal partners who were out there actually on surveillance of a target home, and completely independent, they heard gunfire erupt. And when they went to that particular scene, which had nothing to do with this particular investigation, that matter has been dealt with. No one has been injured. No law enforcement was involved in the exchange of gunfire, and it is not connected.
last question goes to Channel 4?
Let's go to local news in the last couple of hours. So apparently 3 of them. Oh, this is a long press conference. Manhunt for escaped inmates in New Orleans enters its 3rd day. 7 are still on the run. The New Orleans Parish Justice Center said Friday it suspended 3 employees after 10 inmates escaped. It's unclear what roles the employees played in the escape. However, the sheriff's office said it did believe the escaped inmates received help from someone inside the jail. So these are the 10 that escaped. 7 are still on the run. So Kendall Myers was arrested by state police near the French Quarter after he and 9 others escaped on Friday morning. This is the moment he was captured. DeKinnon Dennis is the 3rd inmate. Robert Moody is the 2nd inmate captured after he and 9 others escaped. He was found near Central City. DeKinnon Dennis is the 3rd inmate captured. Once again, that's the picture. One of them wrote, "I'm innocent." Does his eyes say must hate or most hate? Most hate. Oh, most hated. Moist hate. Moist hate. Moist hate is better. I like moist hate. According to the sheriff's office, jail officials discovered the inmates were missing during a routine head count. This type of escape would have been calculated and taking some time. Moist hate. Moist hate.
On the screen, this is where you see the inmates jarring open this sliding door to the cell that they used to escape. The whole, this is,
So 3 caught, 7 still on the run.
Sure.
We'll provide this to y'all as well.
That's the most recent information that we have.
Door, they get it open. Subsequently, they go inside that cell, and this is.
Light one up, tip one back in honor of these escapees.
As you know, if you notice, they are carrying blankets with them. This road that they're going out of is behind this building, as I explained. They subsequently go through another door, and here, at some point, you will see them come through here, and they scale the fence through this door that's near the construction site. They scale that fence, and then make good on their escape, crossing all lanes of I-10.
Good for them.
That's where you see them.
Good for them.
Going across that street.
Hashtag not a lawyer. Let's go to California, where the Menendez brothers apparently won their resentencing hearing. So we're going to find out what the next steps are for the Menendez brothers, who I don't know. I don't know this.
Parole now a possibility for the Menendez brothers after a judge resentenced them in the 1989 murders of their parents. So what's next for Eric and Lyle Menendez in their quest to obtain their freedom? Our Mark Cota-Robles joining us now with more on that, plus strong reaction from the LA County DA. Mark.
Yeah, Mark, good evening. One thing to understand about this process, nothing at this point is guaranteed. The Menendez brothers will get a parole hearing, but if denied during that very first attempt, they'll need to wait at least 3 more years to try again. This morning, for the first time since yesterday's resentencing, DA Nathan Hochman made public statements about the Menendez brothers. In Hochman's own words, if the brothers come, quote, fully clean about their lies during the trial, the parole board should consider them for parole. But he also believes that they would need to get their risk level reduced from moderate down to low. While yesterday's resentencing outcome was not what his team wanted, Hochman believes arguments made by the DA's office throughout this process were in fact successful. Here's why.
The prior DA had basically shielded about half, over 50% of the facts from the judge, from the public, from even the defense, and made a pitch for resentencing based on half the record. So to the extent that we have now brought forward the entire record of facts and law that can also be considered by the parole board, that can also be considered by the governor, that was our mission.
Well, you've likely heard about June 13th being the next parole board date for the brothers. For clarification, that hearing date was already set regarding a clemency request. Unless combined with this new resentencing matter, June 13th.
I just don't know. Because, I don't want to victim blame. And, they could have been abused. And that is a perfectly sane reason to murder your parents. However, they were adults when they did it. And look at them. They're huge. They could leave. But once again, that's me sounding really insensitive to somebody who may have been, abused, but also are these really 2 child predators? I don't know.
Matter will need to be scheduled. Keep in mind, in many instances, parole eligible inmates have had to try several times before being granted parole. Some are never granted release, and even if released.
Okay, Flash, well that assumes that their problem was their parents. What if they're just psychopaths? They made up the story about killing their parents because they were abused because they're psychopaths. And then they're still a danger to the public. You see what I'm saying? Because it wasn't that they killed their parents. They got nobody else left to kill. They could just be fucking psychopaths.
It's not complete freedom. I spoke to legal expert Joshua Ritter. He offered this insight.
They are assigned a parole officer. This is someone they have to check in with regularly. They do have to show that they are making steps to reintegrate into society. That includes getting a job, but it's getting a job.
Lenny, I tell you good evening. Welcome in, my friend.
Also, not associating with people who are conducting criminal activity. There's a lot of things because it's still
what we call criminal activity here.
Essentially an early release from what your sentence should have been.
And here's a bit more insight about what to expect with their pending parole hearing. The brothers will be entitled to legal counsel at parole hearings. The district attorney would be able to attend, ask clarifying questions, and give an opinion on whether the brothers are suitable for release. The brothers' biggest supporters, their family members who have fought for this opportunity, can attend. If granted parole by the board, it would land on the governor's desk, of course. If denied parole, the brothers would be able to submit a petition to advance the next hearing date instead of waiting 3 months.
Now, children in the chat.
Just like before, all of this and all of the
M-Lord quesadilla, behave yourselves.
Tossed out if Governor Newsom steps forward to grant clemency. He has always had that power, and that could happen at any point, even before June 13th. Of course, the world, Mark and Giovanna, have been captivated by this story.
Because there's like a Netflix documentary or some shit, right?
Just keeps all these twists and turns. Mark Robles, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
That's why there's interest in this case. There's like a Hulu or a Netflix, something or other. It was a big case when I was a kid. Like it was one of those things that like it was on not Entertainment Tonight, but A Current Affair, shit like A Current Affair. And like there wasn't Nancy Grace yet, but there's like a precursor to Nancy, or maybe Nancy Grace got started on stories like the Menendez brothers. It was a big deal back then. This widow is suing National Geographic, alleging that her husband's appearance in a film caused his murder.
The widow of an Afghan man is suing National Geographic over one of its Emmy award-winning documentaries, alleging her husband, Omar Khan, was tortured and killed by the Taliban after his identity was revealed in the film, according to the widow's attorney.
He was tortured, beaten.
Oh, goddamn.
The 2022 documentary titled Retrograde follows the final chaotic months of America's 20-year war in Afghanistan and features Khan as he worked among a group of Afghan mine clearers. A wrongful death lawsuit filed in California Superior Court named several companies behind the film as defendants, including Disney, National Geographic, and Hulu. The lawsuit alleges military personnel warned defendants about safety concerns regarding the identities of individuals who had assisting U.S. operations appearing in the film. Despite these warnings, defendants did not take appropriate measures to protect the identity.
Wow. Yeah, sue the shit out of them.
Was finished and cut. Concerns were raised by Special Forces and former Special Forces personnel about the danger that those people would be in if the faces weren't blurred or if something was done to protect their identity.
Khan's attorney says his client was seized by the Taliban and tortured for over 2 weeks after social media clips circulated in Afghanistan showing scenes from the film. We have blurred some of the faces in the video to protect their identities. Khan's wife says he died of his injuries in April 2023 at the age of 25. NBC News obtained exclusive footage of Khan being interviewed by a member of the 12-8 Foundation, a nonprofit which helps Afghans who worked with U.S. Special Forces. The video was recorded after he was tortured and left to die, but before he succumbed to his injuries. In it, Khan details the horror he experienced, saying he was drowned in water and beaten to the point his right lung was damaged, adding that the Taliban found him through the Retrograde movie and was still asking villagers and his family members about him.
It would have been so easy to avoid this. It would have been so easy, and Omar would be alive today. Just basic common sense.
Journalistic malpractice.
As well as the
Fuck Disney.
Not returned NBC News' request for comment. A year ago, National Geographic told the Washington Post that it took down the film in, quote, an abundance of caution, adding, "We were devastated to learn of the death of one of those brave Afghans, and our heart goes out to his family."
I'm glad they took it down. I think they did the right thing at that point. Unfortunately, it was too little too late for Omar.
Last January, Thomas Kaza, the executive director of 12-8 Foundation, testified at a congressional hearing on the dangers of Taliban reprisals, telling Khan's story.
Nat Geo gave the Taliban a target package.
Kaza says there are still
barely the military warned Disney
shown in the film and remain in danger in Afghanistan due to delays in a special visa program designed to help Afghans who worked with the U.S. military.
As the Retrograde became a hit,
the military did its due diligence
list in Afghanistan.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
Oh, shut up, Lester.
And top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
A Mexican beauty influencer was apparently murdered on stream. Well, you go to any links for content.
The murder of a Mexican beauty influencer has sent shockwaves across the country.
Hoy andaba haciendo unas cosillas.
23-year-old Valeria Marquez shot to death during a TikTok live stream on Tuesday.
Ya viene.
Her followers watched her final moments live in this video.
Hola. Sí.
In the minutes before, as she recorded from the beauty salon where she worked in Zapopan, central Mexico.
Pues que te lo quieren entregar a ti.
She mentions how someone had stopped by earlier, promising to bring an expensive gift.
Ya viene.
Later on, clutching a pink stuffed animal, Marquez looks out of frame before saying, "They're coming," and a voice in the background asks for her by name.
Sí.
Marquez replies yes, then leans over to mute the sound on the live stream. Horrifically shot to death in moments after, we will not show. But after, a person appears to pick up her phone.
Wow.
Briefly showing on the live stream before the video ends. The identity of this person and their relationship to the crime hasn't been publicly identified. It would be the last video from Marquez, a rising online star in Mexico with nearly 200,000 followers between Instagram and TikTok. Now Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, vowing justice. The prosecutor's office has not named a suspect, but said the killing is being investigated as a possible femicide, an intentional murder of a woman due to her gender.
You said you were horrified by this, but were you surprised?
I was horrified, and in one sense, I was not surprised.
Paulina Garcia del Moral is an assistant professor who studies gender violence in Mexico and Latin America.
It is quite common, even though it has been codified as a federal crime. The fact is that violence against women, including feminicide, is on the rise in Mexico.
There were 847 femicides reported last year by the government of Mexico. That accounts for nearly 1 out of every 4 homicides with female victims. Fighting femicide was a big part of Sheinbaum's recent presidential campaign in Mexico. And while the murder of Marquez is still being investigated, Garcia del Moral says femicide is a pervasive problem in Mexico that will take time to address.
There has to be change at the institutional level to recognize the institutional responsibility for creating conditions for women to be murdered with impunity. And if that can change, then yes, I believe there could be change, but that's going to be really hard.
Marissa Parra joins us tonight from Miami. So, Marissa, if you talk to human rights groups, they'll point out that in places like Mexico, femicide happens because the punishments just aren't there.
My dick cake shirt.
Killing these women in cold blood. What more do we know about that?
Got dicks on it.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because we know it varies state to state. And it's not just the punishment itself, Tom. We know that the punishment can vary anywhere between 50 to 60 years in places like Oaxaca. But then in a place like Michoacan, the punishment can be 20 to 50 years in prison. But that's just the punishment itself. Even the definition of femicide, what meets the criteria for femicide, varies state to state. But on top of that, the punishment does not find every person that is the perpetrator. There's various investigations that have to be done. They are very complex. Not every state has the resources to do
Curiouser had tickets to see it again and had to sell them.
95% of femicide cases go unpunished.
Because of the shit with her dad coming up.
There, a big reason why this remains such a pervasive problem in this country of Mexico, Tom.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, shut up, Lester.
News and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
But I checked the set list and they're doing the exact same set list that they did. The light on my camera just flashed. Is Lester fucking with me now? You haven't even seen all of them yet. I've got others. My cam froze. Oh, huh. Weird. Well, that explains why my camera flashed at me. Huh. Interesting. Let's see what we can do about that. Orgasm face. FBI taking me out here. Hey, I'm back, right? You're seeing me again. Fuck you, FBI. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got an announcement. Curiouser suggested this. We're gonna give it like a month. I haven't put a number on it yet. I've thought like $1,500, $2,000. If I can raise $2,000, I will tattoo MS-13 on my knuckles on stream. I think I could do some publicity with this that people would in Times New Roman or whatever font, you know. It's not like I'm going to get an actual tattoo artist to come and do this. It's going to be like my friend. But like I trust him enough that he would be able to legibly put MS-13. Oregon gal. No, I absolutely should. This is great publicity. And like I'll show it on stream. Okay, so Curious and I, we had this discussion, okay? If they sent me to CCOT, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm a white person. Surely they'll get me back. Surely there'll be some outrage. Like they can't send me there. They might try to send me there. I realize how dumb cops are, but like I'm a white person. I have access to attorneys. And this does seem like I don't know that it would be mocking kidnapping victims, that it would be like paying homage to them. You'd have to get me to a prison somewhere first. Now, I'm not saying like this couldn't get knocked on my door, but I think it would be good publicity for the Troll Patrol. I am giving the FBI all the reason that they need. But just think about it. I will be on all the news stations because there'll actually be MS-13. Everybody will be talking about it. I think it's great. And also, you know, I'm raising money. Curiouser would take care of the kitties. Nancy Mace, who, yeah, I would love for her to visit me in El Salvador because she could totally be my GOP mommy. Couple of weeks ago, I reported to you guys that there might be a serial killer in the Northeast. A body has been found outside of Taylor Swift's house now. They're still saying it's not a serial killer.
New on the night team, Western police are investigating after human remains were found in Watch Hill.
Yeah, they were discovered just a short distance from the Ocean House and Taylor Swift's Rhode Island home. The night team's Leanna Falk is working the story live for us in Westerly tonight. Leanna?
Yeah, Dan Patrice, Westerly police say they found what looks like a human leg just blocks away from two of the town's most famous landmarks.
kind of alarmed me.
It's a spot known for its million-dollar views.
It was just something very out of the ordinary for Westerly.
But Wednesday morning, Westerly police made a chilling discovery.
I saw 3 police cars, one undercover, 2 looked like Westerly Town police officers, and there was a medical examiner pulling in behind me.
Investigators called to Everett Avenue just before 9:30 in the morning for reports of human remains. Police tell NBC 10 they found what appeared to be a human leg bone. Taylor Day lives nearby. She was driving by.
The leg bone's connected to the thigh bone.
Westerly, because Westerly's, I consider a very safe town.
Police aren't releasing any names yet, and they don't suspect foul play.
I think finding a leg is just a leg is very suspicious.
You may not recognize Everett Avenue, but just up the road is the iconic Ocean House, the luxury landmark. Now the backdrop of this disturbing.
We were all thinking it. Yes.
Football fields away from Taylor Swift's house and the Ocean House. I would never expect anything like that.
It's the latest in a string of grim discoveries and debunked rumors of a series.
We found a leg. We don't suspect foul play.
Immediately went to all the theories that are being thrown around.
Still, many residents like Taylor are on edge.
I'm more aware of my surroundings.
Like Taylor Swift.
I don't go places that are,
gorgeous neighborhood.
where I could be alone, just trying to stay out in public and just be vigilant.
Westerly's detective division is leading the investigation. Stay with NBC 10 both on air and on our website, turnto10.com for any
W-Jor.
Westerly. Leanna Falk, NBC 10 News, Night Team.
This has got so many videos, I don't even know if any of them are the video. We'll do it. We'll watch this.
Rodeo returns tonight, kicking off the 2025 PBR World Finals. And you can catch it live on Fox Nation at 8 p.m.
But first,
enough for this shit.
Home state of Texas with a preview, and he's joined by Kid Rock himself.
All right, there he is.
Hello, Bobby. Good morning. Let's come right on over here. You got 13
Is his name Richie?
pounds of dirt here at AT&T Arena. What's going to happen tonight?
Oh, it's gonna be rodeo reimagined with teams competition rodeo, which we came up with, invented, myself and the people.
Rock and roll.
So we got barrel racers racing.
Oh, it's Bob Ritchie.
Coming out of the chutes head to head. Of course, saddle bronc riding. My part in this is the entertainment value, the shenanigans in between.
When you had to be entertaining for that?
Of course, a big musical number.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Most rodeos.
Mox, welcome in.
At the end, a concert. We kick it off with a huge grand opening. I have a very special.
However, we have watched Kid Rock on Live Music Monday, and he wasn't bad.
Okay, that narrows it down to about 10,000
country artists.
All right, good.
And then we do a concert at the end, and but really, it's just about fun. To me, this is one of the last
Bob Ritchie
pro
and Steve Ducey.
Sports.
Right.
Really, just
Ducey and Ritchie.
Interjection of all the wokeness, which I think is pretty much finding its exit from pro sports, thank God.
Listen, there's so much of it.
The wokeness is finding its exit from pro sports.
One of the biggest rooms you've ever been in here at AT&T Stadium. They can seat 100,000 for a Cowboys game.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is with this event being teams competition, that some of the high seats are some of the best because it's like a football, you can see the whole thing developing underneath you.
And in fact, what they'll do is sometimes
PBR got bought by
the horse a little bit. So what they do is you start off like drag racers.
Yeah, like there'll be a
UFC. It got bought by TKO, right?
They'll come shooting out of the gate.
The company that owns UFC and WWE.
They'll kind of meet in the center, so there's some possible high level of drama.
And the drama is there's a lot of money at stake.
A lot of money. Last year it was $1 million. I think it's that much this year. I'd have to check, but it's a serious competition for them. But I like the shenanigans as much as I do
the shenanigans.
That's why you got to tune in to Fox Nation or show up in person. They still have tickets available.
The rodeo.
You were actually just
pro bull riding
2,000 feet away at the Rangers Stadium last night, I believe.
Oh God, is it fucking storming again?
President George W. Bush watching the game, right?
Yeah, W. It was great. He invited.
No, I think there's a car outside.
And we had to go eat and get some dinner. So, God, what a treat to be there and see him. And
he was with W.
He's so funny. And no matter who it is, what you think of their politics, I respect.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah. And of course, I saw you with my biological son Peter Ducey in the Oval Office. Peter said that you looked like you were. I forget what the president.
Why do you have to call him his biological son?
You were dressed like Evel Knievel.
I love it. Peter's so funny.
Nobody would believe that he actually had a kid and coming a woman.
That was pretty good.
That is funny. Hey, listen, there's something in the news. Did you hear what Bruce Springsteen had to say about the current president?
I did.
What do you think?
Oh my God, just another person with TDS at the highest levels. I mean, to be in Europe talking junk about our president who gets up and works his ass off for this country every day, and his administration is doing such great things. I mean, thank God for him. But to do that in Europe, what a punk move.
Doing such great things.
This guy's got, what, $500 million, $1 billion, and out there playing like he's a working class hero. And really.
What?
In good standings with the Hollywood elite.
Right.
And
the nerve of Kid Rock to say that shit. Grew up in the suburb of Detroit in a mansion to a millionaire car dealer. Playing like he's a working class hero. Bruce Springsteen, Bill Springsteen absolutely is a working class hero because he sings about the working class experience. He supports unions. He's a real man, Kid Rock, not you.
And I'm proud to say that I'm more of Hollywood's kryptonite.
Oh my God.
If you missed what he said, here's the boss.
In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous.
He is correct.
Persecuting people for using their right to free speech and voicing their dissent. They're abandoning our great allies. Siding with dictators.
Well, what do you think of that?
He's correct.
Garbage. TDS at the highest level. I mean, he's over there creating peace in the Middle East. One of the places that could possibly erupt and send the world into turmoil. And he's over there getting it done. Not only, getting great deals for our country, which I've told
him. He's getting shit done.
High levels, working in the financial world. Right. And when he's doing that stuff, they're all freaking out. I'm like, just give him a minute. I'm like, this guy does not know how to lose, period. Gets up every morning. I mean, busts his ass for this country. Thank God for him and his administration.
Well, he's getting a lot of business done and signed up a lot of
Thank God.
stuff. Speaking of business, you got a new place in Nashville.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm glad you brought that up, Deucey. I doubt you're going to bring up the thing I'm going to bring up, are you? Kid Rock's Nashville restaurant closes over concerns of an ICE raid. Employees without legal citizenship were reportedly told to leave work early. Kid Rock's big-ass honky-tonk rock and roll steakhouse in Nashville reportedly shut its doors on Saturday to avoid potential ICE raids sweeping the area. Nashville Scene reports that employees without legal citizenship were told to leave work at Kid Rock's big-ass honky-tonk rock and roll steakhouse around 9:30 p.m. local time on Saturday in order to avoid detention by ICE agents. We were already understaffed because of... God damn it, Smokey! Fuck! Stop, buddy! Stop! God! I was trying to get him to go on about his business because I didn't want to stop because I wanted to clip this and put it on the YouTube. But no, Smokey got to get all up in here. Fuck Smokey! Stop! Stop, buddy! Jesus! He's always fucking with me when I'm trying to work. Constantly, like during the stream, during the day, and I love this cat so fucking much. When I want to cuddle with him, does he want to cuddle? No, no. Smokey, buddy, smokes. I'll get off stream and lay down. Will he come and lay down with me? No. He'll ignore me. He won't fuck with me the rest. God damn it, Smokey. Fucking fuck, dude. Ben Vox, welcome in. God damn it, Smokey. Bobby, that hurts. I've asked Curiouser about helping me trim his nails. Apparently there's a special type of nail trimmer. And he's like, but you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to. They're supposed to scratch and do it themselves. He got stuck under my chair the other day. Like somehow his claw got stuck up under my chair. I have no idea. But she said there's like special kind of nail trimmers. You're not supposed to use human nail trimmers. They're like circular things. Now they're supposed to have like things that they claw and they keep their paws sharp on. But if you don't have those, you need to clip them. Bobby, like. You can see where he clawed the shit out of my knee on the pants. In the fat guy sock. You need to sock him. You want to get in the sock, buddy? He'd probably like the sock. He likes to be swaddled. That's what they call that, right? Swaddled. Damn it, Smokes. Smokey, Jesus. It's not his fault. I would like to put you down and cuddle with you after the show, but you won't have that for some reason. Do you guys remember this show? Only reason I know it is because it used to come on after Raw on USA. It was called Chrisley Knows Best. And I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I don't know. It's a reality show, but it's like a spoof of a reality show. Like, I thought maybe that, like, it was like a scripted show. I thought it was like a scripted show spoofing a reality show, but it wasn't. So, like, when I thought it was scripted and spoofing a reality show, I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. But that's not really what it... This guy was just he's like George Santos. He's proto-George Santos. Before George Santos was George Santos, there was Todd Chrisley. And he and his wife eventually got sentenced to prison for fraud. And their daughter says he got railroaded because of politics.
For financial crimes in 2022, Savannah has not only become the guardian of her young siblings, but also a vocal advocate for criminal justice and prison reform. She's seen our system's pitfalls firsthand and is passionate about improving the conditions for those trying to rebuild their lives. Well, Savannah, you have...
Oh, this is Laura Trump. This is a double dose.
TV star to a prison reform advocate.
Yes.
That's quite a lot in...
They always turn prison reform advocates after, like, it's them that gets locked up. And is it going to be like that January 6th guy where he didn't actually have any kind of advocacy, he didn't have any kind of plans? He was just like, oh, I shouldn't have been treated bad.
Obviously, I was on TV for 10 years, and it was a scripted comedy for all intents and purposes. People think it was this big reality show, but it was really a scripted comedy. And it's been really hard for me to break away from that.
No, it was scripted, but it was a reality show.
It's like ditzy, dumb blonde, and they don't really give me a chance to prove myself. And it all started with obviously both my parents going to federal prison 2.5 years ago, and I knew nothing about prisons. I thought bad people go to prison. That is what it is. And that's...
Your parents are bad people.
So tell me what you want people to know about your parents' story.
So our case was in Fulton County, Georgia, and originally they were not going to prosecute because they said it was very weak. They didn't have the evidence that they needed to prosecute, that it wasn't a case. It took...
The show was called Chrisley Knows Best. It was probably on
Democrats.
the end of the 2000s. This is Todd Chrisley.
And from...
He's very entertaining. I can see why he would be the subject of a reality show. Hold on, let me see if I can find you the Watch a Chrisley Knows Best promo. As I said, I know about it mainly because it came on after wrestling. It came on after wrestling on USA once upon a time.
On Chrisley Knows Best.
So this is the trailer for it here.
This season on Chrisley Knows Best. I plan on living forever. Everyone needs more time.
You're not facing death.
I know that I look 30, but I feel 20.
Nanny and I are taking badminton lessons.
Is she flirting with him? Grayson's 13. He is on the river of manhood right now. Are you looking at porn? I had Sports Illustrated.
Oh, it's not like that. We're going to camp outside a store. Black Friday is like war. Boom, boom.
The wedding is off, so is the engagement.
What will God do to me for this fashion to go to waste?
You are going straight.
I'm pretty sure she's a beard and he is gay and in the closet, and they're both rich in the South.
Dale.
If I do, it'll be with Tom Ford on. Just because they broke up, there's no reason why Nick and I can't be friends.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, all this drama, I need a mimosa.
You are stuck to that layup. What do y'all have planned for the wake?
Threesomes.
Chrisley knows.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa.
live in sexual
Hey,
anarchy.
y'all, it's Todd and Julia Chrisley.
And if you love what you just saw and want to see more of our crazy family, go subscribe to the Chrisley Knows Best YouTube channel.
Mama, what do you
5 years ago seems like too little of a time. 5 years ago, they were getting sentenced to prison, I feel like, or the case was starting against them.
So, I mean, I could go on about the corruption in the case, but they referred to us as the Trumps of the South at trial, the prosecutors did.
They were.
And I
Trumps of the South.
Obviously, I spoke at the RNC on the weaponization of the DOJ because we saw it firsthand.
All of this feels to you like it was targeted.
Yes.
And it was targeted because your family was successful, because your family was on television, and
there were a bunch of grifters
in some ways.
There was an OIG report, and in the report they say we substantiate the Chrisleys' claims that they were unfairly targeted due to their celebrity status.
Wow.
They even had my father's face on a dartboard in their office.
So, having been through that, seeing then last year what President Trump had to deal with.
Yes.
What's all of this been like for you to kind of come to this moment where you say, I thought it was a Department of Justice, but I've heard you refer to it as the Department of Injustice.
Yes, without a doubt. You don't understand it until it happens to you. And when it happens to you, like I grew up,
This sounds really familiar, and it also sounds like she is trying to get the attention of one Mr. Trump in the Oval Office. Like, please pardon my mommy and daddy, please.
It as the Department of Injustice.
Yes, without a doubt. You don't understand it until it happens to you. And when it happens to you, like I grew up, you live, breathe, die our country. Like I'm from the deep South. That's just how you grow up. But when you see your name, the United States of America versus the Chrisleys, it causes you to take a step back and be like, whoa, is this really what I was taught to believe in? So when I saw obviously what the president was going through, what my family has gone through, it was eerily similar. And I knew I just had to speak up, and that's why I chose to speak at the RNC. The judge in our case used it against me. In the courtroom, the judge looked at me and said, and to the person who has these minor children in your custody, you need to be more concerned with these children's well-being than you are spreading false information to the public.
Wow.
And this was right after I spoke at the RNC.
And, you know, speaking of Chloe and Grayson.
Oh, so they didn't specifically cite the RNC. It just happened after you spoke at the RNC. That's what you're saying. Oh, my God.
Spreading false.
The victim complex.
Wow.
And this was right after I spoke at the RNC.
And, you know, speaking of Chloe and Grayson,
yes.
These are your siblings.
Yes.
And now you, Savannah, are in charge of their lives. You have been tasked with being their guardian.
I wasn't expecting to get 2 kids. None of us expected the trial to go the way that it did. I can't imagine how
they thought they were going to get off
to turn their kids over to someone else. My mom literally just yesterday I got in the mail a Mother's Day card from my mom that just said, like, I will never be able to repay you for what you've done for Chloe and Grayson and us. Like, I'm so proud of you.
You are now this huge advocate for prison reform. But what would you like to see happen? In a perfect world, where would you like to see more fairness, more transparency?
Yeah. Well, first off, obviously, these prosecutors, like, they have to be held accountable. My dad got 12 years. My mom got 7. That sentence.
The prosecutors have to be held accountable.
And to waste $1,000 to house them in these camps. I mean, there is no rehabilitation whatsoever. I did a town hall with RFK Jr., and he spoke about wanting to turn these camps into like actual working farms to where people learn a trade, to where you're growing your own food. You're actually learning something and rehabilitating yourself. And I love that.
How are your parents doing?
They're okay. It's extreme.
I'm going to be honest. I would try to hit it. Not Laura Trump. Savannah Chrisley. She can be my GOP mommy.
like you're actually learning something and rehabilitating yourself, and I love that.
How are your parents doing?
They're okay. It's extremely sad to see how these individuals are treated. I mean, my mom, she's in a facility in Lexington, Kentucky, to where there is no air conditioning. Regardless of what someone does, I think you should have basic bare necessities.
There's no air conditioning.
To see that my mom is in conditions like that.
How often do you talk to them?
Every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I talk to them every day. It's short because they only get an allotted amount of minutes a month. So I do talk to them. They're always calling, checking in, making sure the kids are good, I'm good, but it's hard.
Oh, that was the end of it? She can be my... Laura Trump can be my GOP mommy, too. That's my new favorite drop. I'm sorry. I apologize. I've got to put you guys through that. Flash. That was Anna Paulina Luna, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who could absolutely be my GOP mommy. The Chrisleys are absolutely grifters, much like their friends the Trumps. A couple paid more than $600 for a Trump watch.
Trump time. A mistake on a Donald Trump keepsake might be funny to some.
But it wasn't a laughing matter for the couple who paid more than $600.
It is hilarious.
Branded watch. The I-Team's Brian Crandall looked into it and is here with what's happening now after we got involved. Brian?
Well, Patrice, Jean, one letter was left off that watch face, and it was pretty much the worst one possible to forget. And after being disappointed with the initial response from the website they ordered it from, the Middletown couple talked to us.
I'd rather have a watch that says Trump.
To a Rolex band.
Showing support for the president and love for his wife.
Just thought it was really nice. It was beautiful. And I knew it would be something that she'd like.
A limited edition.
One of 250.
Idiots.
So that attracted me.
And Tim Pettit shelled out $640 for a watch that may now be even more of a one-of-a-kind than he bargained for.
Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
Pettit bought the watch after hearing an ad like that one on the radio.
With the president's voice hawking the watches, and I was curious, so I went onto the website.
GetTrumpWatches.com. Pettit picked out the pink inauguration First Lady model.
It has the pink and it has little fireworks on it.
Melanie Pettit likes the style, but it's what this watch does not have that makes it stand out.
I noticed it right away. The T is missing. It just says RUMP.
So it should say Trump.
Should say Trump.
Instead,
it says rump.
She has a $600 rump watch.
Rump.
How could they process this and go through something without checking their work?
I'm very disappointed. I wanted to be a special thing for her. And
I'm going to guess there wasn't even 250. There were like thousands of them made, not 250. 10,000? 15,000? They're probably made on demand as people order them.
And we had expected that it would have the integrity of
Trump,
President of the United States, and
it has the integrity of Trump, indeed.
Watches.com site calls its products the official watches of President Trump, but in the small print, it notes that it licenses the Trump name and likeness. The site also states it has nothing to do with any political campaign, that the watches are not designed, manufactured, distributed, or sold by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of their respective affiliates or
I think that someone needs to be aware of it in their licensing department.
They are.
Dropped the ball big time.
No one dropped the... No!
Today, they were not satisfied with what they thought was a lack of response to the messages from the company.
And an apology would be nice for making my wife cry.
We also reached out to the company's email and have not heard back. But after we sent our messages, Tim Pettit called us back this afternoon to say the company did call him back, telling him they will immediately replace the watch, apologized, and offered an $800 coupon to buy something else, too. NBC 10 News.
They offered you an $800 coupon to buy something else because they got you $600 from you. That watch probably was what? $5 to manufacture, if that. Probably the majority of what you paid for was the licensing fee to Trump to use his name. The actual watch might have cost $1 or $2 to manufacture. It's such a huge markup. Did you know there's this statue of Melania Trump in her home country of Slovenia? It has gone missing. This is like that episode of The Simpsons. Somebody sawed the statue off at the ankles. The bronze statue, life-sized artwork, unveiled in 2020 in a village near her hometown. Replaced an original wooden statue that was burned and removed. The theft is under investigation according to local media. You can see the nice, that is a nice cut right there on that one. You got a little bit of flash, what do you call that? You'd know. You got a little leftover there. They didn't get the clean cut they got on this one. In her home country of Slovenia, 5 years after it replaced a wooden statue that was burned. It is just the base of the statue. Based. They based it. Rosno, Slovenia. In a warehouse somewhere having unspeakable things done to it. I guess this was after it was burnt, right? I did see it wearing like a blue dress. This was the bronze statue that replaced the wooden one that was burnt. It looks exactly like Melania. Hold on. Let me get a picture up here to compare. What do you guys think? Oh, let me pull over on the other side. Spitting image. Rotator. That's a good idea. Where the fuck is it? I have no idea. She can totally be my GOP mommy. Professional. I don't use fucking Windows. Media Winch, welcome in. Well, I wanted to throw this up because the next story that we're talking about is how the GOP is wanting to ban porn. Libertarian Mike Lee of Utah putting forward a bill to ban pornography. We're going to the Isaiah Factor.
Factor uncensored. Some lawmakers are looking to ban online pornography nationwide. Senator Mike Lee of Utah has introduced a bill that would rewrite the legal definition of obscenity. It's called the Interstate Obscenity Definition Act. If passed, it would become illegal to share that kind of content across state lines. The bill to make its way through the chamber's X-rated content has been at the center of a long-time debate in this country. Joining us to talk about it tonight, we have with us parent Dale Lynn Settle, pastor of the Remnant Community Church, Ishmael Barnett, Haley Lane, and of course...
They call him Ishmael.
...who both make...
Oh my God! Oh my God! Whoa. I love you, Isaiah. I love you so much.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
The kind of panel that we would watch on the Troll Patrol. Comradsky, welcome in. I love it. This is the Isaiah Factor. I love Isaiah.
A long-time debate in this country. Joining us to talk about it tonight, we have with us parent Dale Lynn Settle, pastor of the Remnant Community Church, Ishmael Barnett, Haley Lane, and of course, Chris.
Oh, I'd totally do this orgy couch. Absolutely. Yes. This is like, I'm probably fantasizing about this very orgy couch. This is like perfect. Totally into it.
This country. Joining us to talk about it tonight, we have with us parent Dale Lynn Settle, pastor of the Remnant Community Church, Ishmael Barnett, Haley Lane, and of course, Christy LaCroix, who both make excellent...
Okay, which one's the pastor? She's the pastor, right? Are these two conservative and these two... This is probably a sex worker, I'm assuming. Is this the pastor? Is this going to be the right-wing nut? Is this a reformed hooker? I don't know what's going on here.
Rated content on OnlyFans. Glad to have you all on the Factor Uncensored. So, Pastor, let's begin with you before we start this church collection off up in this house. Your thoughts. Are we moving in the right direction with this legislation?
Yes, I would definitely have to agree that...
Yes, the pastor is the dumb fuck male. Of course he is.
We're definitely moving in the right direction with this legislation.
And so what do you think it would be harming, or what does it harm now? Because porn is everywhere.
Yes. And
who do you think it's harming, and what will it harm long term?
What is porn harming right now?
Yeah.
I think that it is harming everything. The way we view the world, the way we look at one another. I think that porn has been one of the things that have caused us to...
How is it harming you specifically if you ain't looking at it, son? How is it affecting the way you're looking at the world if you ain't watching it?
Lose respect for one another, as we see with the Diddy case and Shannon Sharp and all these different people.
What does that have to do with pornography?
You know, is one of the things that give people that ammo to do those things. You know, so that we over sexualize women, make sex about everything, and I think that is really polluting our minds.
We do not over sexualize women.
A living for you. You guys are on OnlyFans, content creators. This could put you out of business.
Yeah, you know, I grew up very poor, completely poor. I'm from Louisiana. Poor is an understatement. Now, I'm doing really well. I don't need Social Security. You know, as somebody who is mentally disabled.
Wait, I mean, it's too early for Social Security, right? You're talking about down the road.
No, I was disabled, so
Okay, got it. Okay.
I was living off the government, but now I make over $250,000 a year off of OnlyFans. I'm no longer living.
I love her.
This is something that has been very positive in my life, and now.
Where is your website?
Types of businesses like Airbnb. You know, I just bought my 5th house. I'm doing quite well. I would hate to lose my OnlyFans income. That would be.
And with you branching out, expanding, getting more businesses as an entrepreneur, do at any point you see leaving OnlyFans behind? Or is the revenue stream too good to just walk away right now?
It's so good. And it's been such a positive in my life because I'm no longer desperate. And desperate people, they don't tend to thrive in this society. Now I am able to think clearly.
Let's surround a pastor with OnlyFans stars.
I know that I am on the right path for me, and I'm not harming anybody.
I don't know what the lady on the right thinks, though.
As a parent, we know.
Oh, she's a concerned parent.
Of porn on the internet, on social media. Your thoughts about this legislation?
Oh, I love them.
I think we can't pick and choose when we want the government to step in as it pertains to our family life and our family dynamic. So for me personally, although I have my own personal opinions about porn, as a mother, I don't think that changes anything. This legislation doesn't change anything on how I raise my boys or my daughters, because I simply think that it's my responsibility to raise them. And so what they're exposed to, it's up to me to safeguard them on what I deem.
Yeah, that's why you should be against the legislation.
It kind of doesn't really matter to me what is going on outside of our house, because I'm the one that kind of sets the tone for my kids. And so when I saw this, it was like, and to be honest with you, whether or not they legislate this or not, kids, they gonna find a way to find what they're looking for. I mean, I can't stop my child from going there looking for big booty black women or whatever they like. I can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to at this point. All I'm trying to do is do right by them by telling them right from wrong and showing them the example of what I deem to be appropriate.
He seems very uncomfortable.
Christy was saying, if that's not harming them, I'm just gonna do what's best for me and my family. And I'm with the good reverend. As for me and my house, we're not gonna have no porn. So that's just that. But yeah, that's just how I feel. I feel like it's my responsibility.
All right, Haley, we'll come back and talk to you after the break. Stick with us here on The Factor.
Oh, poor Haley.
Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Our topic, we're talking about a senator in Utah is trying to get porn banned here in the United States, make it a criminal offense. Haley, let's hear from you, your perspective as an OnlyFans creator. You could be put out of business as well if this law is passed or this legislation.
We need somebody making the freedom argument.
I definitely could. It's something that's very concerning. I find it very interesting that there are people who are so concerned with what consenting adults are doing, especially as someone who grew up in a very conservative household where I did go to church a lot. A lot of people in the congregations do a lot of those things behind the scenes, but yet protest and profess to doing the opposite, not viewing pornography. I think it's one of those things that is just pushed down and suppressed when I don't think it should be. As long as they're consenting adults and it's legal, then I don't think it should be, honestly, anyone's business.
And do you guys think this is about true safety, or is this about politics? And any of you can jump in here.
About fascism.
More about true safety than more than just politics. Because we see the different harms that's been going on because of these things. And I think that because of the different things that we're seeing, the different harms with child pornography and all these different things, I think if we don't get a hold of it, only more bad things can continue to happen.
But that's not what the bill is trying to pass, though, about child pornography. Child pornography is already illegal, so that's not what the bill is trying to pass.
Thank you, Haley.
But I would say that, of course, we know that it's already illegal, but I think that what the bill was trying to pass, or what they seen as obscene content, I think that would be their way, I guess, of trying to put their stance of blocking all of it or erasing.
Encroaching on our freedom.
To probably access child pornography, you would have to go to some very extreme measures, whereas with pornography,
The dark web and all of that.
That is something that is extremely illegal, and I don't think anyone would say otherwise.
I do find it interesting, though, that
such vetting, like OnlyFans does such vetting with facial recognition technology. So as soon as you post something that is like child pornography or not even the person that's on the page, it's instantly flagged and taken down, and they are
even
very,
an animal.
very strict.
There's an
Very
animal in a picture.
Because OnlyFans is very strict.
Like
Doesn't allow a lot of things I enjoy. Like piss content.
if it is about safety, because I can't really say what it really is about, but if it is about safety, there's so much more that we should be discussing if we are talking about things being safe. I mean, I just feel like, find it very interesting that with the climate of where America is right now, this is what we want to focus on. Like we haven't even gotten school shootings under control, you know, that there's
Yes.
I feel like we could be focusing on right now. And I just think that this is really taking away from real issues that we're dealing with. I think that they're creating issues right now. Not to say that it might not be important to some, but there are so many other things that I think we should be looking at right now.
And of course, we've heard in many instances how some
There's a Maynard.
Focus on what the pastor's saying, how many relationships have been ruined because someone gets addicted to porn and they have a warped reality of what life and sex should be like. Absolutely. And there are those people out there, but do you think that's enough to even address it and consider the idea of making it illegal?
No, because do we make alcohol illegal because they're drunk drivers? Like I think we have to be very careful.
This woman is reasonable.
Steps into homes and starts to make decisions and what's best for a family or what's best for a home. I don't think that we take that into consideration when we're thinking about, you know, how alcohol affects families. So many people get divorced because of substance abuse issues and addiction issues, but we don't really take a look at that and say, hey, we should be banning alcohol because of the ramifications and the things that can happen when someone, you know, drinks too much. And so I just think we have to be really careful when it comes to picking and choosing what we want to decide as a government, like what we want to step into.
All right.
But I would say that to piggyback on what she said, no, we don't make alcohol illegal, but the conversation starts to come about. People start talking about, you know, alcoholism and how it has ruined people's families and things like that. I think that it just becomes a taboo topic to talk about porn or sex, because we know that, like my sister was saying, that like we know that most people are doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that
you're looking at it too.
Could just be a starting point of so many things, because pornography itself is deeper than just watching something on the TV. You have a lot of, like, my mother did her best to try to prevent me from doing these things. But after different traumas that I experienced growing up, being molested by girls when I was growing up, that I found those things and it became something that I went into, that I started to watch, trying to medicate myself from the traumas that I was going through, thinking that it was healing me, but it was only making me worse. It was only making me start to look at women in a very foul way. And I think that this conversation, whether it's passed or not, I think that it should be able to bring that conversation to the forefront to go to the deeper level, because I think that it's just deeper than just, you know, watching this on the TV or anything like that.
I think you've got shit that's deeper, and you need to see a psychiatrist.
We had a great conversation.
Can I ask you a question? Do you feel like, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm very sorry. It is awful. But do you feel like maybe traumas that you had in your past maybe have something to do with how you view certain things, and maybe it's not?
Okay, can we talk about how fake titties is like the most well-spoken one? The concerned parent, also very reasonable. But like, Haley is awesome. This is Haley Lane. I'm not gonna be looking up her OnlyFans, but if you're into it, Haley Lane was her name. Like, she's been the coolest.
Feel like, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm very sorry. It is awful. But do you feel like maybe traumas that you had in your past maybe have something to do with how you view certain things, and maybe it's not so much the pornography.
And you got to wrap it up really quick.
So I would say, of course, I think that it would. And
Yeah, ask that really deep, probing question. And Isaiah's like, you got to wrap it up really quick. Too bad this isn't a podcast, right?
But do you feel like maybe traumas that you had in your past
You gotta look up her OnlyFans.
have something to do with how you view certain things, and maybe it's not so much the pornography?
And you got to wrap it up really quick.
So I would say, of course, I think that it would, and I think that the traumas that I experienced and what I went through and the experience with that is the reason why I know that it was a problem. Okay. Because of that. So.
Thank you guys for joining us here on The Fact. There's still
It's always interesting when we break out Isaiah. Any Mr. Beast fans in the crowd? It was you're right, Komradsky. Like, it's better than, like, I always really enjoy the Isaiah Factor segments that we watch. That's totally why we watch them. Do you hate Isaiah? Ban Justin. Oh, hey. Oh, you hate Mr. Beast. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, then you'll enjoy this. Mr. Beast is getting sued by the country of Mexico.
We just got dropped off on this 2,000-year-old ancient temple.
Tonight, Mexican authorities suing a company they say helped YouTube megastar Mr. Beast produce this now viral video.
Why is this not in a museum? Why is a YouTuber holding this? Get this away from me.
Titled, I Explored 2,000-Year-Old Ancient Temples. The video has racked up over 60 million views in less than a week.
This is the door to the inside of this massive Mayan temple.
Authorities say the video taken inside the nation's ancient pyramids violated the terms of government permissions.
We're gonna visit this bad boy.
In the video, Mr. Beast, whose real name is James Donaldson, explores ancient Mayan cities in southeastern Mexico.
Can I take one home?
Well, I do. We'll go to jail.
I would go to jail?
Yeah, sir.
At one point, the influencer, who has 395 million subscribers on YouTube, surprised at the level of access.
I can't believe the government's letting us do this.
And in another moment, advertising his snack product.
The only Mayan-approved snack on the planet.
In the video,
oh my God!
The celebrity thanks Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History for allowing him to film, but the agency who filed the suit saying in a statement that it gave the firm representing Mr. Beast, Full Circle Media, permission to film at the sites but not monetize the video, and that they are now demanding compensation for damages. Adding, the INAH condemns those who, for commercial gain and private profit, dare to distort the value of archaeological sites, which are a legacy of our indigenous culture and the pride of our nation. Full Circle Media did not respond to NBC News' request for comment. A statement released on Mr. Beast's behalf by a source close to him, saying in part, this video was meant to highlight these treasured Mayan sites in Mexico.
It was meant to make Mr. Beast money.
On any archaeological sites overseen by INAH. So it's unfortunate that this has turned into a political issue.
Oh, bullshit.
On Wednesday, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum saying her administration will look into the conditions under which the YouTuber was granted access and what sanctions might apply if any permit was violated.
I would piss in Mr. Beast's stupid smile.
Now. So, Kathy, Mexico's president in your piece saying that they will look into the conditions under which Mr. Beast was granted access. That seems to imply access to these ruins is a highly selective and formal process. Is that true?
Yeah, Ellison, it is quite a process, and it requires interested parties to go through INAH, the agency in Mexico that safeguards a country's cultural heritage. So whether you are filming or for research, by law, you're required to apply for permit, and requests are not easily granted. And while we don't know
pissing his candy bars,
the permits that were issued for Mr. Beast, we saw throughout the video that he posted onto YouTube that INAH personnel, Mexican officials, were with him the entire time.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
Shut up, Lester.
Top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media. News app.
Shut up, Lester. I didn't put NBC News hits. I didn't put so many on purpose. But I knew they were coming. I knew there was like 3 of them tonight. I didn't do it on purpose. But I didn't stop it. Did not want to use my new drop. Yes, Rocky, we are indeed. We're praying for Joe Biden, who has ball cancer.
Biden dies of ball cancer. Watch.
Use my toys. Twisters break it out all over the country. Some are going on tonight. Others were going. No, it's prostate cancer. It is not ball cancer. It's not ass cancer. It's like halfway between the two. It's prostate cancer. So I mean, technically, I can't correct you on ass cancer if I'm going to call it ball cancer. The deep state. Okay. Multiple reports of tornadoes breaking out in it's not butthole cancer, is it? The deep throat state. I do anytime butthole cancer comes up. I can't help myself. I fucking love this video so much. There was a congressperson that died of. It's in the vicinity. No, it is the prostate. He has aggressive prostate cancer, and it's spread to his
God's gonna
bones.
Put cancer in the butthole. God's gonna put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole. God's going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. If you thought that AIDS was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole. Your butthole will be flaming, and you will not be able to sit down until you have a flame coming out of your butthole, and there'll be people walking around all over America with
this is Biden related.
Butthole. And everyone who takes it up the rear, everyone who has a penis injected in his butthole, when that penis comes out, the flame will start burning, because ain't nobody gonna stick no penis in that flame.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
I'm sure Pastor Manning has a newsletter, Minty. Don't joke about it.
Butthole. And everyone who takes it up the rear, everyone who has a penis injected in his butthole, when that penis comes out, the flame will start burning, because ain't nobody gonna stick no penis in that flame. That flame will be an eternal.
That did not happen.
Butthole of every sodomite. Flame coming out of the butthole, flame coming out of your butt. That man pulls that penis out of you, a flame is going to come out, and nobody will ever stick a penis in your butthole again, because it will be on fire. You ain't seen nothing till you see the flame coming out of T.D. Jake's butt. Lightning bug got a flame coming out of his butt, and all flames shooting out of their behinds. You're going to see the power of God. Flame of fire is going to come out their butthole.
What part of the Bible is this from? Ecclesiastics. Ecclesiastics. Somebody edited that together.
Cancer.
Like it is from one rant and somebody like just cut it down to the funniest parts.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole. God's going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. If you thought that AIDS was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
This guy's going to die of ass cancer.
And you will not be able to sit down until you have a flame coming out of your butthole. And there'll be people walking around all over America with flames coming out of their butthole. And everyone who takes it up the rear, everyone who has a penis injected in his butthole, when that penis comes out, the flame.
This guy has had a dick in his ass before. There ain't no way. There's no. People do not think about gay sex unless they're like as repressed as he is, or actually gay.
Start burning, because ain't nobody gonna stick no penis in that flame. That flame will be an eternal flame coming out of the butthole of every sodomite. Flame coming out of the butthole, flame coming out of your butt. That man pulls that penis out of you, a flame is gonna come out, and nobody will ever stick a penis in your butthole again because it will be on fire. You ain't seen nothing till you see the flame coming out of T.D. Jake's butt.
Who is T.D. Jake?
Coming out of his butt, and all flames shooting out of their behinds. You're going to see the power of God. Flame of fire is going to come out their butthole.
T.D. Jake. Sodomize and Gomorrah. T.D. Jakes is another preacher. Is he gay?
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
I feel like I can't play stories about tornadoes killing people now. I feel like that time is past. Apparently Manning thinks T.D. Jakes is gay. This is more of a story that we can, fit in the bullshit part of the show. This is devastating fire destroyed the historic Nottoway Resort. This was the largest antebellum mansion in the South. At 2:10 p.m. Thursday, the calls came in. The mansion, which had become an important tourist destination, was a significant piece of Louisiana history.
Yeah, Nottoway was a staple in White Castle. I mean, everyone from all over the world came here to tour Nottoway.
Everybody have their own opinion.
Alien.
But it is, it is White Castle. It's one of the biggest slave plantations in Louisiana. It's historical. Like I said, everybody have their own opinions on it, but as humans, as people, as White Castle, we have to think about the people, who's providing for their families while working in Nottoway. Working there, no matter what their position was, it was still someone's livelihood, someone's job.
I assume there's a lot of black people working there. It evolved into a place of reflection, education, and dialogue since the 80s. It welcomed visitors from around the world. Officials, I thought you could rent it out for like weddings and shit. No one was injured in the fire. It's unknown if anyone was touring the mansion at the time of the fire. I'm pretty sure you could rent it out for weddings and shit. Twitch people, stick around. We're gonna do something. Probably police chase. I think I got some fresh police chases. We might do police chases and music. We might watch something. Who fucking knows? Here's a tortoise saving another tortoise. I'm always skeptical of videos like this. Somebody probably set that tortoise up on its side. There's a lot of videos that are clickbaity. No, don't stroll off. Help your friend. Like, it did seem like he was trying to help him at first. Oh. Oh, did he come back? Oh. Poor baby. You gonna be able to help him? Gotta take a run and go at it? Oh no. I hope this has a good ending. I can see the other one. He's like, whoo. Spent 10 minutes trying to flip him over. God, that's forever in turtle time. Oh shit. Oh shit. We're getting somewhere. Boom! I wish Curiouser was here for this. He loves turtles. She stops and picks him up, helps him across the road and shit all the time. It might have hurt, but at least he's back over on his feet. Wait, did this asshole was the one that did it? He knocked his buddy over? Oh man. That's some bullshit. Then again, we don't know what this motherfucking turtle might have been talking some shit. He might have been running. He might have deserved what the fuck he got. We don't know what he said to the other turtle. Twitch people, stick around. YouTube, Kick, Facebook, podcast. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.